Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. This is the Audacity Network, and I am your host, Pearl. We are going to be talking about humiliation rituals and why they are causing issues for men in relationships. Another way that women humiliate men is posting screenshots and DMs of men that hit on them. You see this all the time on social media. A guy slides into a girl's DMs. I've even had this happen to me where I ask someone, and really, guys, it's a copy and paste message. These women think they're so special, where you DM them to come on the show and they post it. We have a tendency to use these relationship stories, the texts, all of this stuff for content to build a brand, right? It really just turns into a humiliation ritual for guys, where women get together and collectively decide how bad of wives we can be and get away with it. I mean, it's like we get together, we get body positivity, and we're like, how fat can we get? Guys, are you going to accept this? You guys do it. I've seen 300-pound fiance. I don't know who it's going to be in the chat. Matthew, is it you? Anthony, someone does it. The women, they get together and think, how can we start OnlyFans and be sex workers and get a husband? And they look at the guys and the guys are like, well, fine. And then it's like we get together and we say, can we be super old and still, can we like go out, do whatever we want, then get together and then be really old, be 40 years old and still get married? And we look at the guys and the guys are like, look, we're desperate. I don't know what to tell you. It's been a year. It's been a year. Yeah, fine. Fine, old lady. Come on. Good enough. I mean, this is what's going on. And we get together and we say, can we broadcast our whole life? The men won't accept that. And then, one girl starts and the men are like, she's really hot. She's really attractive. It'd be so much work to go get a new wife. Fine. And I'm going to show you what keeps going. Then you get I think men kind of do a cost benefit analysis of how likely is this breakup? How much will she ruin my reputation if this doesn't work out? Is she just do we have a lot of mutual friends? Okay, she might ruin my reputation in the friend group, but they know me. I mean, we could get through that. But the worst is what Zach Bryan is going through right now. Love your music, Zach. Great music. But Zach Bryan recently dumped Brianna Chickenfry. That's not her actual last name, but Brianna Chickenfry actually dumped her last boyfriend who was in her friend group, obviously because the biggest name in country music asked her to be his girlfriend. And she said, sorry, Chad, or sorry, Brian, or whatever his name was. And she said, I'm going to go date this rock star over here. I know you've been great. This has been a great year. And she got into a relationship with him like 2-3 weeks. Now, I guess he dumped her through an Instagram story. Now, I'm not saying that's the right way to break up with somebody. But, she had no remorse when she left her ex-boyfriend for the superstar. And now she's got a breakup video, and I just got no sympathy. I mean, like, I say this over and over again. I think, what did you expect? He's a superstar. I mean, they can just do that. They can go to another college town, get the next 22-year-old, and boom, you're done.
Up to Zach posting on his Instagram that we broke up, and I had no idea that post was going up. He didn't text me, he didn't call me. I just woke up to a bunch of texts being like, are you okay? And I'm like, did my dad die? And yeah, so I'm like completely blindsided by that. I also genuinely feel like I haven't, like, do you see how swollen my face is? I've been crying for like 5 days straight. And sorry if this video is going to be a lot of jumping around, but I'm at the point where it's like.
Someone in the chat said she destroyed her future and her present. Guys, can we stop capping? Let me get this straight. You guys wouldn't date her. I mean, I'm not saying she's a 10, okay? I mean, she's cute. But cute gets you a lot these days. American women are fat. We're super overweight. So, I mean, I see rich men ending up with cute women. I'm not saying it should be like that. I didn't ask the market to be inflated. But no, I mean, her future will be fine. Riley Reid just got married. And I know what you guys are saying. Well, it's not going to be with the men that the women want. Like, they're not going to be able to get the men they want. And guys, we're never happy. We could get the men we want, and then we're still not happy. I mean, Tom Brady just got divorced. I mean, that's going to happen anyway. We like the chase, I guess, the thrill. And you know, that'll be available for a lifetime. Shout out to dating apps. Now, I know it'll get less every time, but unfortunately, society just allows women to win. So yeah, Matthew says we're done with that type of women. I'm sure you are, but that doesn't change the fact that somebody will do it. Somebody will.
How can you give someone everything and like love them so unconditionally, like through stuff that you shouldn't?
Brianna, I gotta be honest, I bet your ex-boyfriend thought the same thing and you left him for a superstar. I mean, look, I'm not here to judge, you know? I mean, most women are gonna do the same thing. Sorry, fellas. But I mean, just being realistic, when have we really done the right thing? Ever. Sorry. But that was what you chose. So you said, let me go after the highest risk, like in terms of risk of everything, like risk of getting dumped, risk of getting cheated on, risk of catching an STD. I would say rock stars, superstars, I would put at the top of that list, the highest risk. Do we feel bad for the men when they invest in Dogecoin and go broke? Hell no. You think, well, what did you expect? You got a really risky coin. You could have bought Bitcoin or the US dollar. Not that any of those are that stable these days, but you guys see what I'm saying. You could go for a more stable one, but then what we do is we say, let me go date a rock star and get surprised when I get dumped.
Like, you just love you. Like, you see the good in them. Like, how can you? Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Talking too much. The next story that I found online was Alex Cooper, who is now going to be married. Again, talking too much. Now, there are men that will accept things, right? There are men that will accept a shady past, right? There are men that will accept previous kids. There are men that will accept a lot, being overweight, being chubby, maybe you not doing all of the household chores. That happens all the time. But do you know what makes it worse? When a man is so gracious to accept us with all of our flaws and we brag about it online. Why? So Alex Cooper is now telling the story of how she contracted an STD and had it for 4 years, slept with a bunch of men during those 4 years, by the way. She got it at 23. 4 years later, met her husband, still had the incurable STD, and how he accepted her with it. Now, that was very gracious of him, but now you're telling the world and all of his work colleagues are going to know that he is marrying a woman with an incurable STD.
I really wanted to tell people. Like, I really, really did, but I feel like people will understand this. Like, I had been keeping it to myself for so fucking long. Like, I didn't even know how to talk about it. I didn't even know how to bring it up. I didn't want to relive and tell the Paris story and then have to be like, I did lie. I actually had sex with him. And I think I was just scared to vocalize one of my biggest fears, which was the possibility that this mistake I made years ago was going to impact my fertility. And I was extremely emotional because Matt was the first person I had dated that had me realize I even wanted to have kids. I, for a while growing up, like really doubted if I wanted to have children. And Matt was the first person that I was like, oh my God, without a doubt, I want to have children with this man. So a week and a half later, my test results came back from the colposcopy and my doctor called me and told me that she was concerned about the HPV. She said she would recommend that I get a LEEP procedure. So I immediately Googled it and I'm trying to understand, like, what is a LEEP procedure? Like, how invasive is it? Like, will I have downtime? Like, I just went down a spiral mentally and emotionally and I just started to break down. And I was also just like so exhausted from carrying this information by myself for so long, and also because of the experience that I associated with it. So I remember I got to a breaking point when I knew I needed to go in for the sleep procedure that I finally told Lauren. And I just told her everything. We were like having wine one night and I like had like my second glass and I like just fucking started bawling and I told her everything. I told her about Paris. I told her how scared I was. I told her I didn't know what to do. I was terrified about this procedure that like I couldn't fully understand, and I was reading online about it, and like so many people are saying like I'll be fine. Then there are so many people that say like it's super painful and like traumatizing. Like I was just very confused. And most importantly, I was freaking out because all I wanted to do was tell Matt. But I was afraid of how he would react. And for context, HPV does not affect men.
I want to just Google something really quick. Really quick. Does HPV affect men? Most men with HPV don't have symptoms, but others may develop genital warts. Yes. Cancer. HPV is associated with several cancers in men, including anal, penile, tonsils, throat. So this STD, she was going around and sleeping with other guys for 4 years and potentially giving them cancer.
Obviously can carry it, but it doesn't do any harm to them.
That's just not true. That's not true, Alex. I don't know why you're saying that to make yourself feel better. Not true. Not true. False. Oh my gosh.
So they're just spreading it. Like nothing is happening to this man's penis with HPV. So many men probably have HPV, but it only like actually like medically affects women negatively. So I wasn't worried that Matt would be angry that I like gave something to him. And I didn't know also if I had actually given it to him. Like there is like a chance that he didn't get it. I was more afraid because this was a new relationship and we had just started dating, and it's awkward to be like, yeah, I have an STD and you should go get checked. And we were like starting to get more serious. So I was like, this is like.
But you see, some men opt into their own destruction. This woman lied about an incurable STD that could give you cancer. He said, you know what, let me give her my assets too.
What I want to do and not what I want to bring up. But I knew I was going to have to be honest about it. I scheduled my LEAP procedure, and that night I told Matt. We were having dinner at his house, and I remember, like, I was so nervous. I, like, went to the bathroom, like, 10 times, like, looking myself in the mirror, like, practicing, like, how, you know, when you're doing that, though, when you're like, I need to, like, I'm randomly bringing this thing up. Like, what's the good in? Like, what's a good time? Like, when he's cleaning the...
Okay, yeah, but you guys get the idea. You know, she got lucky enough to get a good-looking guy who said, you know what, Alex, I'll accept you. I love you. And that wasn't enough. She had to tell everyone else. No! Why?
A woman goes absolutely mega viral on TikTok because she blasted her husband about his suspected cheating in Vegas, proceeds to throw his clothes over the balcony, and then makes a slew of videos explaining why she did that.
So he's claiming nothing happened, but he doesn't remember anything. He was drugged. How dare I question him? How dare I be mad? And he's turning it back on me, telling me I have no compassion, I'm psychotic, our divorce is gonna be epic. He said the most out-of-pocket shit to me. An innocent man doesn't act that way. They just don't. If you're innocent and your wife is throwing your clothes off the balcony because she thinks you cheated, you're gonna go, well, let me let her get this out and then I'll prove that I didn't. No.
And then, finally, when her audience, her community took action against her husband, she came back to the internet with her tail between her legs, and it's kind of epic. Yes, it's entertaining, but we can take something from this. We can learn from...
Yeah. So again, back to fights on the internet. Little does he know. Little does he know she's recording it for the world to see and making a post about his masculinity. Anyways, guys, like the video, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.